What's the name of the company? Forgive me. That you
I'm
work
at
for?
now.
Mm-hmm.
We're not recording, are we?
We are, but we'll
this
cut
is,
this out.
This is cut.
Daniel, can you talk about what you do?
I don't know if I can.
I don't think you can.
know
Can
if I
we
can.
talk about today's article? What the hell?
Did you read it?
Yes.
You got it?
No, I had to log in to get it.
You have a problem with your email.
I think it's where it's coming from. And Lori didn't get it either. No, she did get it. Excuse me. She did get it.
She always gets it.
Yeah, so
It's your email.
maybe.
You have a messed up email, and I do believe...
I fixed it.
But,
Aaron helped me fix it.
well, he apparently missed a piece.
Well, maybe. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying supposedly it was fixed. So I had to log in to read the article today.
Yeah?
It was short.
It was pretty short.
I felt like
was pretty short.
you
It
threw
gave-
that together quickly.
Oh, I did. And it gives away why it's short. I was literally
right.
spending all day waiting to be either put on a jury or sent home.
Yeah.
And I was there till, it was...
The best part of that was your response.
Oh, that he was guilty? From Indianapolis, Indiana, this is Truth It.
Do you want me to keep this out of frame?
No, you're fine.
I would actually prefer it not be in frame.
No, that's why I'm asking you this question.
Because it just doesn't. They're not a sponsor. Panera is not a sponsor.
Maybe we make them a sponsor.
Well, shoot. I like that idea.
I would love for them to decide.
They wanna
reach
be a
out to us.
sponsor at
Is there still coffee in it though?
Yeah, there's coffee.
Well, why don't we just use your new coffee cup?
Yeah, you can do that too. You want to rinse it
That's some
out?
good
You can
branding.
rinse it out if you want.
That's fine.
No,
All right.
I don't think you need to.
Yeah,
It's
look at
toxic,
you.
but it's
Look at you.
mildly toxic.
Okay, so you grew up in Florida. Where in Florida?
I grew up in North Miami Beach, Florida.
Oh my gosh, look at you. And how the hell did you go from there to Indiana?
This is so stupid. You probably know this already.
I'll take the trash.
Thank you.
Do you know the story, Daniel?
If you do,
No, I
you've
don't
maybe
think I do.
forgotten it.
I've forgotten it.
It's really dumb. I knew I wanted to go out of state.
Okay, Indiana's way out of state.
I
mean,
may
there's
have touched
Georgia, there's LSU. I mean, there's a lot of schools north of Florida.
Yeah. So I never had a plan. So let's just put it that way.
Okay.
I only applied to 4 schools out of high school, and I got into all 4. And then it was just a matter of, okay. And then I was originally going to go to Ohio University, which is in Athens, Ohio.
Yeah, of course, Mac Conference School.
And I went to visit it and realized it's in the middle of nowhere.
It is.
And
Great campus, though.
but it was too small.
Yeah,
And immediately I was like, no.
yeah.
So then it was like, all right, well, where else did I apply? And Indiana was one of them. And I came to visit. And I'm like, yeah, this looks like college. And that was it.
So what were the other 2 schools?
Wisconsin and Florida State.
But you didn't have time to visit those.
I knew I didn't want to go to Florida State. I think I just
Yeah.
did that to appease somebody in my family.
Yeah,
And
it could have
then-
been a parent.
Could have been.
Could have been a parent. Maybe a sibling or a neighbor.
And then Wisconsin, I had a cousin who went there, and I just knew it was too cold.
It's
So I
too
really don't know
cold.
why I applied in the first place to go there.
Yeah.
You just did.
You were just like, this one popped up alphabetically, No, it wasn't. It wasn't even alphabetical. That's towards the
I
end.
wish I could tell you there was some kind of...
Logic to it.
There was none.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the other weird thing is, I went to a big high school.
Which high school?
North Miami Beach Senior High.
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, do you?
I'll tell you how I know it in a minute. Go
Okay,
on.
the Chargers.
Of course.
Yes.
We had, I think we had 7 people from my graduating class go to IU.
Oh, wow.
I don't think they all, I know they didn't all.
Did you stay in
Stay.
touch with them when you were there? No. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm aware of where a couple of them are, but
As you were leaving Florida, I came into Miami. I graduated in 91 out of Ball State.
okay.
And 48 hours after I graduated, I was en route to Miami for
what?
work. Yeah.
For work.
So the office was over by the Doral.
Mm-hmm.
So there was the strip center office space back then.
My memory of the place has
Yeah,
faded
yeah,
over
oh,
time.
man, it's a long time ago. Anyway, I got really familiar with the whole area. And the guy I worked for was a huge sports fan, both high school and college. So he had season tickets to the Canes for football and basketball and
Yeah.
knew all the high schools. That's how I know your high school. Knew all the athletic schools and
So
non-athletic
you saw us
schools.
get beat up all
Yes.
the time.
Yeah. Anyway, I had a great time there. I loved it. It was wonderful.
And then you came back.
Yeah, well, I bounced all over the place with work. So, yeah, I came back in '02. Lori and I moved back to Indy. So, yeah.
I'm glad you guys were able to establish that really great connection.
Of Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's
I
a
feel
lot
like
to talk
you-
about, but we're not going to bore the audience with like Joe's and South Miami Beach and all the crazy shit that was going on back in the early 90s down there. It was a shit show.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is too much.
When I came in, I'll never forget this. I flew in, and the guy, he became my mentor, and he's a super close friend to this day, Mark Carter, drove me over to South Beach. He said, look, we're just going to get this out of your system now. And he drove me up and down the strip, and I saw everything. I mean, there were women that were half dressed, taking public showers.
And half undressed.
And he said to me, this is just the way it rolls, man. You don't be that kid from the Midwest just staring at everything. Just act like
Get
it's
used to
normal.
it.
Yeah. And holy shit, I would go play volleyball every weekend on the beach, and we saw it all. I mean, it was bananas. And I just remember thinking, where am I? Like, this is crazy town.
I'll similar to that. So one of the first, if not the first time, but one of the first times my wife came down, we were driving down A1A to South Miami, and I can't remember what we were doing, but we were going down, and she's looking around as we're driving down, and you go through some sketchy areas. We were going to a Heat game, I think, or something related to that. And she saw some guy dart across the street, and then some other people chased him. She's like, "Oh, what are they doing?" And I said, "Yeah, I think he just ripped off that."
Yeah, that's right.
that drugstore. And she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." And then later on, we saw some, ladies of the night, and she was like, "Oh, what are they?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's normal. That's."
Did you ever was the Grove popular back then, Coconut Grove and that whole area when you were in that
it's always
stage?
been popular, but it's, again, my memory has faded because I'm 52 now. So
that's basically the end of life.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Well, honestly,
only inside. Only inside. Outside, I'm still...
your family
I
loves hearing that.
literally don't know anyone older than 50 except for
thanks,
Michael.
Yeah,
and now you.
Okay, well, I'm glad I've expanded that category a little bit.
And so, how did you feel when you turned 50?
Oh boy.
It was a bigger. He's probably asked you this. Yeah.
No.
I don't want to know.
I'm so
how.
happy he hasn't.
When I turned 50, it was more of a giant milestone in my head until I got to it, and then once I actually turned 50, it was all right.
It just felt like the next day.
It just felt like the next day. It never felt like anything.
Yeah, that is interesting because the day before you were 50, you were 50 rounded to the nearest 10.
That's one way of looking at it.
So I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
So do you have any plans for ice? That I take it you're not 50 yet.
No. Why did you ask if I? Did you think I was over 50?
No, I did not think you were.
Like,
over
I thought
50,
you were like
but the
56.
way you framed the question, you're not 50. So
right,
and you asking that question makes me think that maybe you've considered how you're going to approach that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a big deal?
No, I don't. I'm 46, and a lot of people that were when I was approaching 40, a lot of people around me that were also approaching 40 looked at it as like a big deal. I think 40 is one of those among different decades where you kind of is normal to think about life and where you're at and all that kind of stuff. And for me, it was just like, thank God I can finally stop fucking around with these goddamn 30s. And so I was happy to be 40. I finally felt like an adult. And
Dude, you started raising kids early. You had to have felt like an adult from day one.
I definitely. So one of the things that's really interesting about the way you look at yourself compared to looking at others, especially when there's the age gap that is part of one of the factors, is when I was, I look at my kids and what they're doing at this time in their life, and I'm like, when I was your age, I had a job, I owned my first home. And not only that, but when I was your age, I was 19 and you're 25 or whatever. So even what I view as their age was a younger number for me.
I know we go through this all the time with the nieces and nephews. Like, you just turned 30, you're in grad school. I was getting married and making money.
Yeah. It's a different path, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when I was 20, I got married when I was 20, and I had kids right away.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you were adulting before adulting became a word.
Yeah. It was
That's
pretty
a
great.
lot. I mean, did you feel like that was a lot when you're? Because I mean, I'm thinking about, like, I didn't have kids till I was 30.
Yeah. No, I felt like it was, I grew up in a family of 12 kids.
I knew that. Yeah.
Right. So because of that, it was much easier to have my own place with a wife and a daughter. Like, that was easy. And then eventually a second daughter, and it just felt like way less chaotic. This dog.
That dog is killing me. That tail.
I'm just going to tell you right now, animals and small children, I say this
They
a
gravitate
You
towards
hate him.
lot. No, they love me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
my wife has a theory. It's because I'm
Well,
non-threatening.
That tail's going at it.
But it's everywhere I go, and I don't know. I can't
Sit down, Asher.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. The whisperer.
So anyway, so it didn't feel like too much. But what I can tell you is that when I got to the point in life where my kids were going to high school and we were starting to, my wife and I, have a little bit more freedom and flexibility, and we didn't have to drive people to different sporting activities. We didn't have to, get a babysitter for years at that point because they were old enough to kind of fend for themselves for a period of time. It was just, life just became easy, and I had never experienced it. I lived on my own for a year and a half as a single, as a bachelor, by myself, and I didn't have a roommate or anything. So a year and a half, I lived alone. And then next thing you know, everything changed. So
if you look back on it, if you were being completely honest, would you have liked to had more than a year and a half to yourself, or it wouldn't have mattered?
No, I think that wouldn't have mattered. I think that there are benefits to different paths, right? So of course I can come up with some things that I might have enjoyed to have more time to do. But no, I think mostly I wish that my wife and I had a little bit of a longer period of time as just a couple. But at the end of the day, then that's a trade-off from something else, which is that we have really great kids that are, basically, adults that can be friends, So there's a different kind of relationship when you're a young person with adult children, young by comparison to the average, timeline of family.
When would you say you became friends with your kids as opposed to parents?
I would say in middle school when they started to be able to make jokes.
Okay. The jokes.
Yeah. So when their jokes got better, it was like, okay, I can hang out with this one. This is going to work.
And you have girls, though.
Yeah, two
I think
girls.
It's girls different than from girls.
Really?
Yeah. Because I have 2 girls and a boy, and my 2 oldest are girls.
How old are your children?
21, 19, and 16.
Okay.
And
So-
are you friends with them yet, or do you just want them to get the hell out of your life?
I think I wouldn't say I'm not friends with them, but I would say the friendship is closer with my oldest.
Yeah.
And then it's gradual to the next one and then the next
Yeah.
one. But I think that's just it's a reflection of maturity and
Yeah.
place in life and things
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
And then there's also, kids are so different. The same 2 people can raise, 1, 2, 3 kids, any group of kids that is amazing how different our 2 daughters are. Mm-hmm. They had the same lifestyle. They grew up with the same parents. Like, everything was exactly the same.
I heard this guy
Except for
talk about
we
this.
were harder on one of them.
The one that became a lawyer.
No, we were harder on the older one. We were harder on the older one.
I heard something the other day that was really fascinating to me, because I used to argue that I grew up in a household with 3 siblings and none of us are alike at all. We get along great, but in terms of like fiscal responsibilities or political views, I mean, it's crazy. And I heard this guy give the best explanation as to why that has happened. And it has everything to do with the parents, not the children, growing up in the household. When I come into the family, my parents are at a different stage in their marriage and in their relationship. 18 months later, a sister shows up. She's experiencing them at a different stage in their relationship, in both their marriage and their professional career. And so goes on that process. And when I sit down and really think through that, I'm like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like, I can remember my parents at this stage, what that was like. But I was 6 years older than my youngest sister. And so what she saw is completely different than what I saw at my age based on where they were. And it really gave some light as to why we're so damn different, because I still find it hard to believe that we can be so different and still grow up in that same household, because I feel like the core principles or whatever that core family unit is should reflect on everybody, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but like when my first one was born, we didn't know what we were doing. And I mean, mistakes left and right, just, reading books that really were not giving you good advice. And we were, I'm sure, very high strung.
Oh, yeah.
And then by the time the second one came along, you're like, we've been through this. And then by the third one, it was like, yeah, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So sometimes small things help us to picture much bigger things, and sometimes big things help us to picture much smaller things. Yeah. So, for example, think about evolution. It is hard to fathom the big story of evolution, of the way that things change gradually over time. But when you see the way that things have changed in the last, 40 or 50 years of your life, you can think, okay, what if that kept happening for a very, very long time? I can imagine how we might be able to go from this kind of one-celled organism to a complex organism or whatever. And I'm not an expert on how to unpack evolution, but when it comes to, I always disclose the things that I don't have a credentials
it's a
in.
lot of disclosures.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Which is,
right.
I have no credentials in anything. So, but then also in the reverse, you can also see the change over time and then look at that and say, I see these little things that happen that you might not notice otherwise. For example, my parents had 12 kids, and they had essentially 3 generations of children. And it was at 3 distinct times in their life. So when you raise 1 kid or 2 kids, maybe even 3, you can see the difference between how you are parenting them at 2 versus at 12. But that's because their age is... they're growing, they need something different. But imagine if you can actually see how you would parent at 30, how you would parent at 40, and how you would parent at 50, the exact same age of a child. It's very different. So my parents had 12 kids over the course of 15 years. So you have the way they parented a 2-year-old when that was the only one they had, or 1.5 years is how the oldest is 1.5 years older than me. And then how do you parent that same type of kid 15 years later? It was very different.
Oh, yeah.
And they're different.
Yeah. Well, 100%. How could you not be, right?
Yeah.
Besides the environment, just as a parent, you change over time, but your kid's changing with you.
Yes.
But if you're replacing those kids, you see this totally different dynamic.
Yeah.
And I think older parents parent a little bit more like grandparents, and younger parents, or they're a little bit more like grandparents in the way that they're softer and more permissive with their kids. And then younger parents are a little bit more strict and, I don't know, get shit done kind of thing.
Well, you just said it. First child, didn't know what the hell you were doing. Second child, kind of know what you're doing. Maybe a little more structure, maybe more rules, if you will. Third child, what the hell? We're old pros at this.
But I think it all comes down to fear. Like when they I mean, a lot
Really?
of life is fear, but I mean, I think with parenting, especially like when you have that first one, it's fear. You're responsible for this helpless. I'm not saying anything that people haven't thought, but I always feel like a lot of the barriers in life are just fear. And it's when you recognize the fear and you're able to cast it aside, that's when you're able to move forward. And fear is what holds back everything.
I just listened to a podcast with Matthew McConaughey talking about fear.
Oh, okay.
Literally just last night. So yeah, I want to hear more about this. That one. Yeah, it's
well. I want to say I'm not an expert on evolution either.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay, but you are on fear.
No, I'm not on fear, but I think about it a lot. Yeah.
You think about fear a lot or evolution?
No, I don't think about evolution at all.
Okay.
Just because it's not on my radar.
It's
not an
it's boring.
You know,
it is boring.
I'm
it's
trying
not
to
that
shrink
interesting.
my worldview here. No.
This is going
but
great.
Talk about that fear topic again, because I think that's an interesting insight.
Yeah. Well, it comes up a lot. I just feel like I think it comes up again. I think fear comes up a lot in the workplace, and it's what holds people back. And when you're able to get them to get past whatever fears they have to do whatever the job is or the deliverable
Can you give an example of what you mean by that, though, in the workplace? Of fear in the workplace?
Something as simple as communicating with a colleague in a different department, right? Until they've crossed that bridge, or I think there's just this liminal fear of sorts that lingers in everybody until they've had an experience, especially it's one that they're not used to. And so that fear is there, but once you've overcome that, it just feels like everything falls away. Yeah. And that's at least the way I look at it. And it's, I know it just opens you up a lot more. I mean, I think this is pretty common.
Matthew McConaughey was talking about the very issue of overcoming fear. And once you overcome that fear, how it does exactly what you just said, it opens you up. But he also said that fear can be used or is used as a safety net, if you will. I'm committed to this. I'm all in. Maybe I don't want to do all that. Like I've created everything I need to do to go launch a business, but now I have to actually do it, and there's a fear of actually doing it. So you kind of retract or pull back from that. Go ahead.
So I think that what's interesting about that topic to me is that fear prevents us from doing things, but it also drives us to do other things.
It can.
So for example, I could even say that I probably started a business because of fear, whereas a lot of people don't start a business because of fear, right? There's the fear that it might be hard to be sustainable, or you won't get enough customers, or whatever the case may be. The fear that you're not good enough at it, and that then it's everybody will know, right? You know, all kinds of fears can come up with that. But for me, it was also those fears existed, but the other fear that I think really drove me is the fear of being insignificant, or the fear of not making enough. Basically, the fear of poverty.
Go back to insignificant. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think that there is a normalness in having a steady, stable job. And there are people like myself who feel some kind of disdain, not towards other people that do have steady jobs. Sometimes I'm jealous of them, but this discomfort with the idea of feeling like you might just be a regular person.
Got it.
Can you imagine what I would be like if I was just a regular person?
Good God,
like you've never known me as a regular person,
right?
But
so are you saying if you have a steady, stable job, or is that just your impression that that's a regular person is someone?
Today, as a early, late 40s person,
this is so good.
I very clearly understand the irrationality of this thought, right?
But he does think this.
Yes.
But I do think that sometimes the way you feel about something and then rationalize it with words can be, at the end, it's ultimately irrational, which is that I feel or have in the past. I probably don't feel this way anymore, but I haven't thought about it at all, but in the beginning of starting a business, I felt I need to do something that makes an impact, that changes the world, or that is noticeable, that has some kind of lasting value.
And you knew that early?
Yeah. Yeah. I felt like I should do something significant. And in the end, as I got older and did fantastic marketing campaigns, I also feel, that it's very, very regular. But before I was doing that, I was like, if I don't do something like that, I would be regular.
Okay. I'm interested to hear this because, I met you when I did go out. It was shortly after I decided to work for myself and did that for about 7 years.
Yeah.
And that decision was made based on a fear of, it was almost like I had no choice.
Yeah.
To go work for yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I had been I had worked for large companies pretty much straight out of college.
Yeah.
And some things just didn't go my way, even though I was, it's just the way life is. You have your ups and downs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to that point where just something traumatic to me had happened with my career. And I was like, well, what do I do now? Do I get back on this hamster wheel or do I just completely go in a different direction? And that's when I decided that, I'll go work for myself and see what I can build from scratch.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
So so you did that. So
yes.
What happened?
What happened?
Well, you decided to go work for yourself.
Yeah.
You did that, but that's not what you do today.
No. So I went back to the stable.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you feel how did you feel about that when you
going back or when I started?
I want to know how you felt when you started and what it felt like once you went back to big corporate America.
Okay, yeah. So I went, like I said, it was almost like I had no choice.
Yeah.
It was like, I have to do something different because the tactics I'm using I've reached a point where something has to change. Mm. And, so I went into it just knowing that I had to, expose myself more. I'm an introvert, but I'm an introvert extrovert. So I know how to turn that thing on, right?
I love introverts that tell me that they have an extrovert button
I
that
have
they
a
can
theater
turn on.
minor. So
it's a knob.
It's
not
a knob.
button.
It's not a button. It's a knob.
Very true.
And turn it up.
It is. It's like I just know, and I developed it over time.
Okay.
This ability to just kind of,
Yeah.
I'm in a different environment. I'm going to do this. I have to be this version of me. So that's what I did is I turned it on and I said, I just have to be more. I have to be more vulnerable. I have to expose myself more. I need to go and meet people because up to that
when
point.
When you say expose yourself,
not
how did that work for your business?
I'm glad that you're thinking that way, but that's not how I was thinking. We could talk about that later.
Friday afternoon, people. Yeah. Friday afternoon.
Yes. So let's just go with vulnerability. It was more of me being like, I'm going to have to let the walls down a little bit. And and that's what I was like, I just have to go meet people and explain what it is that I think I do. Like, what is the differentiator for me and how do I build a business around this?
And what was that?
It was just a content development and communications consulting company. Okay. And it was really just me. And I'd outsource when I had projects that required video or things that I just didn't do. But I focused on regulated industries. So healthcare, finance, pharmacy, pharma, real estate, insurance, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then to your, like, what did it feel like when I did that? Scary as hell for a while, but then within 2 years, like a high that you can't get any other way.
Right. Liberated, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah. And so for the next 4 years or so, I lived in that world and I loved it. Yeah. I loved it so much.
Okay. So what happened?
I got so tired.
Well, you had to work so hard.
Because the hustle. Yeah. It's the hustle.
It's the hustle.
At this point, I have 3 small kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
Like, I've built it up. I have enough clients. I'm, you have your up and down months, right? But I had a steady, like, the business plan was working.
Yeah.
So I was doing what I needed to do. If I had to outsource, if I had too much work or things that I couldn't do, I would do that. But ultimately, my kids started getting older and I was getting tired of the hustle and I still had my foot in my previous career and opportunities presented themselves and one thing led to another and I kept open my business for another 2 years, I think, after I went back, not to the company I'm at now, but the previous company.
Right.
But I outsourced everything. And then after that, I was like, you know what? This is just too much work.
Yeah.
So I just put it away and just moved on with this part of my life.
So I'm going to make an assumption that you probably work just as hard today as you did then. Would that be a fair statement or no?
I work just as hard, but it's in more condensed time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you miss the hustle today?
No.
You do not?
No.
Interesting.
No. And this goes back to what you were saying. You felt like you had to have an impact. Like you knew at a young age, you knew. I've talked about this a lot. We're going to open up a can of worms here.
I like it.
Okay.
This is what
I've
we're
talked
here
about
for.
this with my therapist a lot. So let's just say that.
Oh, we're back to I've told you we have to have an episode on therapy.
Fine.
But
We are.
I didn't really put my finger on it until the last year or so, but I feel like my entire career has been one long case of winging it. And somehow I got to where I am, but
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how that happened.
I
It
think
was
most
more of
people
like
feel
just,
that way.
but it seems like an impossibility when you look back at all of the different steps and how they could have gone so many different ways,
Yeah.
and they didn't, or they at least went ways that I could work with them, but somehow it all seemed to work out. Okay.
When you say winging it, are you thinking? Tell me if this maybe matches your experience. There's something that you've never done before, but you just know that you can do it, but you have to figure it out along the way, and you have to hide a little bit of the gaps from whoever is on the other side. The person hiring you or people you're working alongside.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that, but I'm also getting back to age. I don't have to do that as much as I used to.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I love about my potential 50th birthday is that that's the time when I'm going to be able to stop faking it.
Is that's the
it's
magic?
official then.
That 4 years from now,
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen?
You
Yeah,
have to
I
be
think
50
so.
to stop
I think so.
faking it?
Pretty
Oh,
soon.
boy.
Pretty
Yeah.
soon.
I
But
wanna
I've
know
got
what
4 more years to kind of goof off.
4 more years of faking. That should be your slogan.
4 more years of smoke and mirrors. I love it.
Yeah, I think everyone's on to you anyway. What do you miss? What do you miss about owning the business? Do you miss anything about owning the business?
I missed the freedom of just saying, but I mean, that's the trade-off, right? You're thinking about work Sunday night at 11:30.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
exactly.
usually working Sunday nights, or I used to be working Sunday nights.
So do you carry, with your current position, do you not have those thoughts on Sunday night? You do not.
I don't have Sunday scaries anymore.
That is fabulous.
I always had them, regardless.
No, they faded.
I think different kinds of jobs, but also different stages of jobs. So, for example, you pointed out that you've done the winging it, and you've developed a craft. You're good at what you do. You've added skills along the way. You've never been, Michael, an employee of someone at that age in life.
No, I haven't. I've always been an employee for a company that carried revenue responsibility. So there was always this pressure.
Yeah. When I had my first job, there was a lot of pressure. My first couple of jobs, there was some kind of pressure, but there was a lot of, proving yourself to keep your job, proving yourself to try to get ahead. I was always in a sales or sales adjacent roles. So, there was pressure to meet a certain goal. And then I just know I haven't had this experience myself, just like you. I haven't had this experience myself. I just know that if I was doing that same job today, it would be a cakewalk.
Oh, yeah.
And I would not be sweating it.
100%.
I would not be working on Sunday or thinking about it.
It's funny you say that, because the people that trained me in corporate America, they would tell me early on that you'll look back on this with fond memories. Like, you don't realize how good it is right now.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get somewhere. You don't take time to acknowledge that you've got a company car and an expense account and tickets for fill in the blank, whatever sports you're going to go watch. And you can take people to golf tournament. You take it all for granted. You don't think about, hey, that's really cool gig. But at 40, if I look back on it, I'd be like, wow, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I
when
want
you're
to say
there,
though,
you
I'm
don't.
not complacent. It's more that I'm more comfortable in where I'm at.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
at peace,
Yeah.
right? Comfort.
Yeah. Although it's not official until I'm 50, I definitely feel there were times where I felt like I would have to try to find some way to skip past the detail where I'd never done a certain thing before. But I just have such a deep experience in the work that I do. I've been doing the same thing for 20 years, and I've expanded the scope of my skills over that time. I don't feel like I have to try too hard to put together a good message to somebody, to like present a good strategy or whatever. Sometimes I do things that to me at this point in life it's really easy.
I get bored with that, so I intentionally shake it up.
Yeah.
Almost disruptively, I might add. Like the business, it's like...
And I can appreciate that too, because I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're fine.
Even in the situation I'm in now, I do occasionally find myself getting bored.
Yeah, of course.
And but it's about on track. Like I have a time.
Yeah.
Like if I look back at my life, I'm like, yeah, this is about the time I would normally get bored.
Yeah. So you know that, right?
Yeah.
And you
About
know that
the
about
length
yourself.
of time at a certain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to bring up something that you had mentioned when we were talking before this. One of the things that is interesting that happens to people as we age, we get more confident and we get more distinguished if we're like Michael, and we're lucky.
And you've got 4 years.
In 4 years, I have a shot at it. But then there's this kind of flexibility and creativity that we lose over time. So literally your brain actually is drying out.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No, this is a fact.
Are you certified in this statement?
Yes, I am.
This is part of the
certified
evolution
in.
he knows nothing about.
I'm certified in having read lots of stuff about it. So,
All right, go on.
but this absolute fact is that our brains get harder over time. The neuroplasticity, we lose it. Basically, it's literal softness of the brain. It's the flexibility of your brain as a physical object. And what that lends to as a result is you're just less able to do new things. It's harder to learn stuff. It's harder to make adjustments. It's harder to change your routines. It's harder to be creative. And creativity involves a lot of rule breaking and uncovering new stuff, right? So, a kid is a little baby is born, they put everything in their mouth because they're discovering everything. Well, that discovery starts to fade out. And so our creativity gets lost, and you notice it in the advertising industry, and maybe every industry, but in the advertising industry, the most creative people are often, there's personality types that, maybe have a knack for it, but the most creative people are the young people. But then the old people come in and say, well, here's why that won't work, but that was a great idea. And they steal it and take credit for it and make it more practical. And, but then the older people, if you see it with designers, their design looks dated and their new ideas are less frequent and that sort of thing.
I'm still pushing back on that.
Okay.
I don't know if I
Can't wait.
agree with that. Lori, my wife, started painting 2.5, 3 years ago. She's always wanted to be an artist. She's definitely, she would fall in the category of what you described, someone that's aged out of creativity or whatever. But Lori discovers new creativity on a daily basis, goes into her studio.
Yeah. Well, it's not to say that it's impossible.
Well, I'm not right. But here's what I'm driving at. I think if you have an open mind and you want to live on the edge, you want to push yourself, you want to shake things up, you don't want to be in a 9-to-5 job and just the monotonous of the repetitive piece of that. I can see where that would be true.
Yeah.
But I would argue, and you're a great example of this, push yourself beyond what you're comfortable with, and you find new creative outlets. Look at what you've done here. I've got my arms flying around
It's incredible.
podcast.
It's incredible.
But all the digital format.
The audience doesn't even know what's off frame.
Right. You found a new hobby, right? I mean, but this is my point. If you allow yourself to be open to the possibility of creativity, I'm sure there is some science to what you're describing.
Sure.
I know there is.
Yeah.
But you can also not succumb to it and just say, oh,
Yeah.
well, I guess
Well, there's
I can't
also
be
science
creative.
to what you're saying. Think of your brain as like a sponge. If you take a wet sponge and you set it down, it dries out, it gets hard, and then it's less useful as a sponge. And if you are constantly using it, you're constantly adding moisture to it, and it stays, fresh and flexible and all that kind of stuff. And so one of the things that keeps our neuroplasticity, lasting longer as we age is the same thing that keeps muscles strong.
Yeah.
It is using it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you age, you lose muscle mass, and it gets harder and harder to produce muscle because you don't have all the hormones that are developing muscle so quickly. So, people that are specialize in this, doctors, which I'm not personally one, but I know a lot that a doctor might know. They will advise you to build as much muscle as you can before you hit like 55, 60 years old, because then it gets harder and harder just to maintain the muscle, much less build it. Same thing with your brain.
Yep.
And you can restore some of that, but you will, without question, lose that plasticity of the brain.
Yeah. I agree with that. If I look back,
you're stalling it is the goal.
Right, exactly. Because it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be Archie Bunker at 65 years of age, sitting on a lazy boy watching TV, bored out of my mind.
No.
I don't want that. I don't want anything close to that.
Choice.
It is choice. I think it's choice, right?
Yeah.
I think you have a choice to choose if you want to live. We all have a choice. The question is, and I think it goes back to what you said earlier, fear. If you're on a path and you know you're on a path and you can see what that looks like, and it doesn't look good, like it looks boring, you've got to do something about that. And there's a fear that comes with that choice of changing the path I'm on. Mm-hmm. And you keep alluding to it, by the way, Jeremy, about that timeline kind of jives with my past experience. You're saying, like, when, I think we all innately know, but specifically you're saying you know yourself well enough to know that this is usually a time when I get kind of bored and I got to go shake it up, or I've got to go do something to revigorate.
Yeah. And maybe that's where
reinvent.
I find that creative impulse again. It's been gone for so long.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying is I used to write constantly. Like
And look at you now.
I don't write anything.
That's not right, man.
I mean, email. That's what I write.
Come on. No journaling, no nothing.
I do journal, but not as much as I used to.
Wow.
And it's gone. But I mean, I also know that I'm a pretty resilient person. And if I wanted to
You'd pick it back
pull
up.
it back and try to find a way. And my wife's a good example of this. I mean, she decided 6 years ago, she wanted to be an aerialist. She's an aerialist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So aerial silks. She's
I love that.
constant.
Wow, that's incredible.
She teaches classes now. Like she went
No
from
way.
just starting to teach, and now she's an instructor.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
incredible.
Yeah.
And
And that's
also
all creative too. Like
Yeah.
it's,
Oh my
it's
gosh,
like ballet
yes.
in the air.
Absolutely.
It's a perfect time in your life to do that too, with the age of your kids.
Yeah.
They start to get into high school, and you have a little bit more personal time, even if you're also working a full-time job. That's great. It's a great time, and an important time, a vital time to start learning new things, because, like I said before, not to be the bearer of bad news, but we lose that anyway.
You are the bearer of bad news
Yeah.
today.
Well, in your case, Michael,
I was waiting for it.
I think
I'm glad
that-
you threw it out.
I think that you don't know where I'm going with this. I think that your ability to be creative and learn and
That's from hanging out
expand your
with you.
horizons is never going to fade
I hope not.
because science does not apply to you.
I love that.
He's the evolution expert, so
Of course he
yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's because I hang out with him. That's
Yeah.
why he's saying this.
Yeah.
I find myself, when I get bored, and I, like everybody, I don't like that feeling. There's a need for me to go do something different, or
Yeah.
do something I've been doing, but figure out a different way to do it.
Yeah.
It drives me bananas. That's why I couldn't go back to work for somebody, because the idea of putting myself in a structured format, I would not do well.
I think to some people, and you might be one of these people, it feels like a trap to work for somebody else. To other people, it might feel like a trap to own your own business.
Yeah.
But not until
Fair.
you actually own it.
Fair.
Because when you own it, you, in a way, are trapped by it. Someone
You
who
are.
works at a job, Jeremy, you could just go quit. And you could start up your business.
I could.
Or go work for a competitor.
I'm not saying that you have any desire to do that,
No.
but you have that ability. Whereas, Michael,
point.
if you want to quit your business, you have, all this infrastructure you have to tear down.
Yeah, it's not pretty. You're right. So I am trapped in that respect.
So you can look at. I'm just saying that
No,
you have
it's a
the
fair
opportunity
statement.
to look at both sides as
So
something
you're both
negative.
caged animals right now.
Yes.
Yes.
We always
Yeah,
are.
in spite of my
Yeah.
rage.
As we get older, when you hit 50, you'll realize this. We're trapped in our life because of the things we've acquired in our life. There's a certain maintenance quota that goes with all of this, right?
Yeah.
I was having a
Well,
cocktail with a
that's
friend
why
last
I
night
sold
about
my
this.
business and reformatted my, business life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of that.
A good friend of mine last night, we had played 9 holes of golf. We were grabbing a cocktail afterwards, and we were talking about this very issue. He's like, Michael, people retire when they're 50 and they continue to live their same lifestyle, but they don't have any new revenue coming in. But they didn't save enough to continue the lifestyle they're on, or maybe they've burned through it so fast. And he was saying to me, this is why I'm 70 years old and I'm never getting rid of my business. I'm just going to keep it to the day I die. And I'm like, wow.
What do you plan on? What do you both plan on doing? Like,
I'll let
Yeah, you
Daniel
go first, Michael.
No, you go first.
I don't know. I think that I honestly don't have certainty on what I'll do, but what I have been doing thoughtfully, because there's a lot of ways that I just let life come at me and then navigate it in the best way I know how. Meaning, I started a habit a few years ago where every New Year's I establish no goals. And it is my goal every year
For no
at the beginning
goals.
of the year to have no goals whatsoever. And then it's also very important to me, like when I had a recent birthday, my wife said, what do you want to do at this, 46th year of your life? And I said, I don't want to do anything that is tied to this year. I want to keep doing the stuff that I'm doing and keep getting better at it.
Until you turn 50.
Then I'm going to stop. But stop getting better. I'll still do the same things over and over.
There
and
you
over.
go.
But
right, neuroplasticity, it's over.
Yeah, it's all gone.
I will have had enough plasticity for my own good. So what I have been trying to do intentionally is continue to reform the work that I do to make it easier and easier on my body is the way that I would describe it. Not literally physical labor. I do, office work, basically consulting, but yeah, there are certain things that require more energy, and maybe it's some of those things are more energy for me because I don't like them as much. And then there are certain things that I can do in my sleep because I enjoy it and it feels natural, comes naturally, comes quickly. So I've tried to, over time, some of it can't happen overnight, just gradually work towards doing things that I can do forever. And so I think that I'm just going to keep working forever. Because,
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
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 Do you want to keep working forever?
I think so. Yeah.
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 Just making sure that's
if
what you're
I
saying.
was, if I had a windfall that gave me so much money that working did not make financial sense because it literally just made no difference. Doing
Right.
without taking into consideration all the different ways that you would make calculations at that stage. But if I had that big windfall, I would still need to do something, at least at this time in my life, the way I feel. So I would still need to do something to have that feeling of, stimulation, usefulness, feeling, challenged. I need to constantly, I write a blog because I want to learn, right? Like I publish content for other people because I want to learn and because I want to make jokes a little bit.
You make some good jokes. I'm with you. I like the chase. I like the hustle. I can't imagine not doing that to the day I die. Genuinely.
Yeah.
And to your point, this has been asked before. When do you have enough? I don't know, because I'm sure I have enough, but that's not what pushes me. It's not having enough. It's not having something to go hustle for.
Right.
I enjoy that. So even if I have enough, I still want to do that.
Yeah.
And Lori knows that about me, and we talk about that. So what's the end look like? I don't know if there is an end. I think we just keep going until we can't go anymore, and then we figure it out. But I genuinely wake up. I'm excited for what's in front of me. I look forward to it, and I genuinely love trying to figure it out. That puzzle piece.
So
I enjoy.
I have some. We all know someone like this, but I'm thinking of an uncle. There's actually two of them that uncle on my wife's side that live in Ohio, worked for Honda for their entire life. Wow. From maybe it wasn't their first job, but from a young age, they worked there for 30 plus years, and then they hit an age where they were vested and could retire, and they just stopped. They stopped working, and they are the happiest people in the world.
I'm sure.
And so they had jobs that paid well. I'm sure that there was all kinds of options for, supporting a retirement savings plan and all that kind of stuff, healthcare. And then they just stopped. Both around the same age, a couple of years apart. And now they play golf. And I think one of them actually is a golf pro now.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, these are guys that they're not going to go for the rest of their life and something like that.
So we were talking about this the other day too. I can only play so much golf. And I get bored. I can only ride my bike so much before I get bored. It goes back to what I said earlier. I've got to shake it up. I can't just. You've met him, Daniel, a good friend, John, and John plays golf 5-6 days a week. That's all he does.
Yeah.
And I said to him recently,
sounds like torture.
It is.
To me, it did too.
It is. It's a punishment for him. He's not supposed to be.
We were on the tee box, and I
that.
said to him, "Do you like really truly enjoy playing golf every day?" And he just stood there for a moment. He paused, and he said, "I'm just bored." Like
he was bored playing golf.
No, he's just bored. So this is what he does.
This is why I asked. That's why I was curious.
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
This is what I was because. Yes, you go into the workforce and you're like, oh, you got a plan for all your retirement. What are you going to do for your retirement? At this point in my life, I don't know that I'm going to retire unless I'm forced to, because I don't know what I do all day.
Yeah.
And when I go visit, or like, I don't want to be one of those older people who sits around all day watching TV.
No, me either.
And doesn't have things to do. And I want to be useful.
Yeah.
And I also just want to feel like I'm doing something every day, as opposed to I've made it to that finish line and now what?
I think what we're really saying is we want to be relevant
Yeah.
in our life, not just to other people, but I mean, really, truly to ourselves first. And then
I think that I agree with that, but I also think it's not just about being relevant. That I think that idea that you pointed out, Jeremy, is so real. The fear of having nothing to do. Mm-hmm. It's fear of irrelevance is for real. But just what would you do if you had all day? I've had times where I had days off in a row, like some call it vacation, but like when you're not going anywhere.
Yes.
And And I'm like, I literally,
Bouncing off the walls.
I can't sit in this house all the time.
Yep.
And
can't
there's
either.
not enough yard to mow.
Nope. No.
I'm running out of stuff to do.
And when I'm involved with those activities, I'm all in. But I can't do that all the time.
Right.
I can't. Man, that's a slow death by paper cuts for me.
They say that I've heard this, and I don't know who they is, but somebody says that people often will essentially speed up their death when they retire.
Yeah.
Depending on the nature of your retirement experience, but because that usefulness, you start to lose something with that.
I can see that. I really can. So, Jeremy, I'm curious. You've obviously given this some thought. You can see where you are. You've given it the intellect that's required to make the statement that you said. So what's that future look like for you in terms of if you don't do what we're talking about or do what we're talking about, what does that look like?
Well, I've already established I'm good at winging it. So
I like that. The introvert.
You're
that
doing
can
great on
wing
this
it.
podcast.
am I?
Yeah, you're fantastic.
Great.
Great.
I'm not thinking that far ahead. At this point, I'm just, what do I need to do? What maneuver can I make, or what maneuvers can I make within the confines of what I've established now?
I think that's the way to
and
go.
just keep it rolling for as long as I can, because I have kids are getting older. I have more free time.
Yeah.
I find other ways to feel. I need things, you know what I'm saying? Like work used to give me something to feel. I don't feel as much anymore with work, but I'm still always looking for something that makes me feel something.
Yeah.
And that's what whether it's travel, whether it's arts, whatever it might be, I'm trying to find those things that make me feel something.
Yeah.
And that's my focus more so than anything else right now.
Yeah.
It's good. It's beautiful. I agree with that, by the way.
That is really interesting. So I picked up, hobbies for a similar reason. It's, there's a period of time where work just felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again. And it doesn't feel like that now, but I've had a lot of novelties incorporated into my last year and a half of work. But you just imagine, like, you're doing something, you're great at it, it's going well, but all you're doing is that.
Yeah.
So I have picked up, basically side gigs, so to speak, because I needed that.
Yeah, you reinvented yourself.
And how are those things different than what you do on the...
So I write a blog.
Yeah.
And it is a very connected type of thing to the work I do, because writing is a key part of my services and what I provide to a customer. But it is also very different in that it is not for somebody else. I'm not writing in somebody else's voice. I'm writing in my own. I'm not writing to sell something other than maybe persuasion, ideas. And it stretches my skill. And it also puts a little bit, sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way, it puts a little pressure on me because I publish at the same time every single week. I'm always, the email always delivers at 6:30 on Friday. And I have to keep up with the news because it's sort of commentary on politics for the most part.
I'm surprised you didn't mention, or are you getting to one of your other hobbies?
Which one?
Poker tables.
Oh yeah, well that was more of a COVID thing.
Well, it was,
so during,
it was a pivot, right?
So during COVID,
I've seen you advertise those. It took me a second to
Yeah,
connect.
yeah,
right.
We me and my neighbor built a poker table because we were like trying to play a game and have something to do on a nice table that we could put in the garage. I have one in the house. The wives didn't want us to pack all these guys breathing heavy. So we built a poker table, and then we were like, you know what? I think we can do better. Let's sell this one. So we sell it on Marketplace, and then basically it just starts this series of, building and selling and building and selling. Got a few people reach out and ask for custom tables and so on. But that filled time when it was happening. When people were looking for poker tables. Once everybody started going back to work, they stopped needing poker tables.
I would say you shook it up. You were bored. You figured,
and I've developed a skill.
Yeah.
And now I'm, this weekend working on my closets
There you go.
doing built-ins for that.
Are you looking forward to this weekend?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Although it's hard work and I feel like I've got some deadlines on me, but yes.
But building a closet sounds like is something you would like to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like also to me like torture.
Yeah, does it really?
Yeah, I don't like
I love
manual
it.
labor.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, I hated manual labor for the longest time, but one of the things I learned is that it became such a great escape
Yes.
from the fatigue that you get from using your brain for work.
yeah.
And the only way to unplug was to use my brain an equal amount for something that was the opposite nature.
I see. I completely agree with this. When we go down to the lake to get everything ready for spring or summer, I really enjoy the labor that's required. What I don't enjoy is the compressed time that I have to get it done. Mm-hmm. If I could do it on my time, meaning several days, I'd really enjoy it. But I go into it not thinking, oh, hell, I got to do this. I go into it like I get to decompress. I get to take the phone off, put the phone away. There's no iPad. There's no TV. Maybe there's some music. But I'm doing something and I'm seeing the finished product of it all at the same time. And that is, for me, it's incredible. Well, it's very rewarding. But I also grew up in a family where I had to cut the grass every week. I'd rake the leaves, had to paint. You did all that shit as a kid. It was child labor, but I grew up with
I
it.
hated that stuff.
I did too
as a kid, and now I like it.
But now I like
Yeah.
it. Right?
Well, what do you do to unplug or offset the
Beat on the kids.
pressures of work?
There's only one left at home now. I just want to do what I want to do.
Which is what?
I go to a lot of concerts still. Not as many as I used to, but I go to a lot of concerts.
Do you want to share the
He's going to tell us
couple?
about his record label. We'll get to that.
No, I'm not. It's because it's dormant. I haven't.
Well, we'll get there. We'll come back to it. So concerts,
I go
music.
to concerts. I listen to records most nights.
Vinyl?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I do most nights.
Are you collecting vinyl? Or is
Yeah, I
this-
have thousands. Yeah.
You are.
So what? Thousands of unique copies, meaning not 1,000 copies of one thing.
No, I don't see the purpose in that.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah. Is there a genre that you
I mean,
prefer?
rock would be the start of it,
Yeah.
and then just kind of varies to different genres.
Era?
Whatever I find myself interested in at the time. So, like right now, I've started going down the rabbit hole of Italo disco
Oh, no way.
because I was in Milan. My oldest has
yeah.
been studying abroad for the last 6 months in Milan, so we went to visit her in April, and it's playing in a lot of the places that you walk around and go into, and it's so weird to me, and I got myself kind of like wanting to know more, and since we got back, I've been trying to dig up more on Italo disco.
That is interesting.
For a while, it was post rock. Like I was really into post rock for a while.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just what keeps me interested.
Yeah, it's cool.
What is post rock? I should know this, but I don't.
It's big cinematic, instrumental, mostly type of music. So if you think the band that most people go to is Explosions in the Sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you classify someone like Adele as post-rock?
No.
No.
Right?
Adult contemporary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
So,
I want to know what the concerts. Well, I want to know a concert or two that you've been to lately.
We could talk about this forever.
we ran into each other at a concert.
Shut up.
Toe the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah.
That's that's when you said you should come on the podcast. That was like last summer.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
right.
right?
It took a year to get him on the show.
It was a summer's day. I remember when you went.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was hotter than Hades.
It was
if I
hot.
It was
recall.
hotter than Hades.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
was talking about this.
But I do want to hear about your record label, which is dormant now, because what was really
Look at him
fascinating.
shaking his head hard no.
It's fine.
What was fascinating to me about that when you were doing it is, first of all, how much it seemed like it was. It seemed like an unlikely side business. But it also seemed like something I was jealous of. Like I would have loved to. I got into marketing through the music business, so I would have loved to have done that as like a something for fun.
Would you rather have been a rock star or on the business side of music? Let's clarify this once and for all.
I would have to do both.
No, you can only do one or the other. What would you prefer? Would you rather be a musician, or would you rather be on the business side of music?
I'd probably be on the business side, but there's no such thing as doing just one and thriving forever.
What do you mean? Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones, you don't think he's ever performed?
Yeah, but his excel was on the business side, not in
He
as a
creates
performer.
music.
He helps create music with musicians.
Yeah. So, but
is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to clarify. That's what you mean by that?
What I would need performing as a musician to be a key part of what I do.
Got it.
But I don't think the people that do that sustainably for a long time, I think it's a very short list where they don't also get involved on the hammer side and instead of just being the nail.
Got it. That makes sense.
So, because it makes sense. It's just part of the ecosystem, really.
So let's hear about the label. Why is it dormant?
So I originally created it. It was as simple as there was an album I wanted to exist on vinyl and it didn't. And so I had gotten to know some people over time, and one of the artists that I really liked in this record was important to me. Had never been on vinyl, so I reached out, and I had booked a show with them at one point. And then one thing led to another, and I said, why is this not on vinyl? And he said, it just doesn't happen. I said, okay, let's do it.
No way.
Yeah, and that was it. And I said, okay, I just need the masters and I'll figure the rest out. To what you were saying about let's just figure things out. Like I do like to figure things out. That's keeps me interested. Yeah. And in those gray areas where you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was just like, okay. And he was willing to work with me, and we pressed 500 copies and we sold them out. Wow. And I was intending to do more, but it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of, I mean, I had pallets of records stacked up in my house, and it was a fun little diversion. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's not something I wouldn't go back to at some point, but.
How far back in time was this label created?
15 years ago, 10, 15, 12 years ago, maybe.
When you created it, was it just for this one person, or were you thinking, I'm going to...
It was originally for the one record. Then I got contacted by another artist who had put out a record a few years earlier, and I reissued it. And after that is when I said, you know what, this is taking up too much of my time and causing me... I'm spending too much time on this versus the things that actually like make me money.
Right. So how much, how many artists or records did you release?
That's it.
Really, you did it for that long for just these small amount.
Yeah.
So have you heard of Romanus Records? So there's a guy in town named Chris Banta that I know, that he actually sort of, I don't remember how he got started with it, but I think it was maybe a similar story. Like he was trying to put together a vinyl for somebody. Maybe it was for himself, or maybe and then it was another band. There's plenty of people
around town have done it.
But he actually has gotten to a point where he's his full-time gig is just pressing records, and they're unique, unique designs. The actual vinyl itself.
I know who we're talking about.
He's at the Stuttsville.
Yeah, I know.
There's one concept that he's able to do, which is vinyl that you can see liquid inside of it. Like it has like a hollow interior with like some kind of gel in it, and so it looks really cool. And it's become this popular way to sell your record in a way that you have more control over, is to offer something about that besides the thing that you can just stream online. Something beyond the music, something about an experience.
And there is a boutique market for vinyl right now, correct? There has been for quite some time.
This past year was the biggest selling year in vinyl in maybe forever, but at least
for record players
40 years or something.
I did hear that, and what's really fascinating about that is that the oldest, not the oldest, but the oldest still active form of music media is passé in a sense, and then it starts selling better than it ever did in the past.
CDs are coming back.
CDs are coming back. That seems like a waste of time.
I can't believe that.
No, that's a generational thing, because think about it. Like my kids, they grew up with not a lot of physical media.
Yeah, they grew up with digital.
Yeah, and suddenly they want to own something. Yeah, and CDs are cheap.
Yeah,
so that's
okay.
Because they can go to Goodwill and pick up 10 CDs for $20, and
We were at a bookstore, a used bookstore, dropping off books, and I could not believe the CD section. But the vinyl section was larger than the CD section, which blew my mind on 86th Street. Interesting you say that, because I remember in '02, the MP3 players, the digital MP3 players were just hitting the market, and you were lucky if you could load 7 songs on there, maybe 10, depending upon the volume. And I just remember thinking, well, this is dumb. I can't even listen to a whole album or a whole CD. It's just songs.
I remember somebody who was just like shooing off CDs when we were switching to CDs from tapes. And they were just like, it's every time I hear one, they're always skipping. Why do I want a CD player? I can always just use my tapes are fine.
Yeah.
Tapes. Those are back too. There is a cassette day every year.
Yeah. It's amazing to me how fast that technology went from 0 to warp speed. Like we went to CDs to MP3 to full on digital with Apple Music from '02 to '05, '04, '05. And it was just like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah. Do you think that these vast ways that people can access music that are basically anybody can publish an album in hours, is that better for music or worse for music?
I think if you have more control over your own product, then it's better for music, and this allows the barrier for entry is less.
I think it's been
but
better.
You also have to cut through the noise, so
you
got to figure out your way to.
But the true artists somehow always find a way to rise to the top. They create their own music, meaning they don't buy into the big corporate label. They're out there putting it on YouTube or fill in the blank, right?
And I mean, there's a lot of it is DIY, but. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not clearly I'm not an authoritarian on what does or doesn't work, but I know what I like.
I don't understand. Like I was to say, like, I mean, there's stuff that's getting huge now because of TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
Me either. Same.
But like my daughters will say, "Oh, I heard this on TikTok," and like, it's like the Cocteau Twins or something from.
I heard that. So
30 years ago.
I'm on YouTube or Instagram. That's really all I do for social, and I don't really post. I just view. I'm a voyeur. But I came across Sons of Legion. Have you guys heard of this duet? Holy bananas! These two guys are. I mean, like I don't know how they're not top 10
because it's hard to break through.
Yeah, but when you listen to these two, because you're gonna leave here and you'll go to your phone and listen to it, you're gonna be like. Yeah, that's pretty legit. Those two guys know what they're doing.
I saw a band a couple weeks ago called Fantastic Cat, which is somewhat of a super group in quotes, of singer-songwriters who had really never, just guys in the industry for a while. And they put together this band, and they have a whole thing with cats and whatever. But their music is like from another time. And so I went to see them, and it was so much fun. Because I remember thinking if they'd come out in 1988, they would have been huge.
No way.
But here we are with 150 people in a club, and
isn't that the truth though?
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? But they have very dedicated fans.
Yeah.
So,
do you go to a lot of concerts with friends, with your wife, by yourself?
I usually go by myself.
Why is that?
That's odd.
And as an introvert,
that's odd.
Maybe that makes sense, but to the extrovert that I am, it makes no sense. I'm unable.
So I can tell you where it started. I went to see Bruce Springsteen in 2001 or 2002. My wife was with me, and everybody's on their feet, and she wasn't.
Oh,
because she's not really a fan, but she came with me.
Yeah.
And I said, you don't have to go. It's okay if you're not. I don't want to bore you.
And she took you up on it.
And she said, okay. And then at that point, I said, all right, well then, I don't mind going by myself. I don't need to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And at that point, I just said, all right, I'll go by myself. So now, I just go. If someone wants to go, cool. But if not, I don't care.
Yeah. That is wild to me.
Yeah.
That's the most perplexing thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to. I mean, I want to talk to you before the music starts, but once the music starts, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, right. Do you have a favorite venue for live music?
The best venue I've ever been to is Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been there. I've always wanted to go. So I feel like the reason why this really I can't let go of this is I feel like they're you're not supposed to necessarily talk during the show. You want to really enjoy the music.
You're still on him
really
going by himself.
Understand why I do things.
But humans we all tend to want to experience some kind of what John Arnold on the show year and a half ago called it transcendence, a transcendent experience.
Okay. Yeah. And that I can agree with.
And when you are with someone, especially, someone that you're close to, a good friend, for me, like I've gone to concerts with people that I hadn't seen in a long time. And it's like, we're not close, but we're friends enough that we can hang at a show together. There's something different about it that you get out of that experience of having that transcendent like experience with someone.
I think transcendence, how the music hits you and whether you hit that transcendence is really up to the individual. So like I went, let's see, when was it? Well, my birthday last month. I went down to Florida. I love the band Goose. I don't know if you know them.
I know them.
Okay.
He's a strange dude.
Which one?
The lead singer. Well, the guitarist. Well, they have dual guitarists that are masked, do they not? Am I thinking of the wrong group?
They don't wear masks. Are you thinking of something with
Ghost?
Goose.
Oh, Goose. I thought you said Ghost. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Ghost is another band that they do wear masks.
And that's who I thought you said. I'm sorry.
Goose.
Sorry.
So Goose, they're a jam band, which I'm not a jam band guy, but I love this band so much. I went down to Fort Lauderdale. I'm down there, so I went and I was like, I'll visit family, and they were playing 2 shows in Fort Lauderdale, so I went to both shows. I went the first night I went with my brother. The second night I went with my brother and the 2 of my closest, oldest friends, and it was really nice. I mean, it was a fun night. It was great to be with them, but it wouldn't have mattered if they were there or not. The transcendence is whether the music is, and I agree with you on this. Like music is the, I was reading this book by Nick Cave. I'm still reading it actually, but it's a bunch of conversations between he and this guy Sean O'Hagan, who was a journalist, I believe a journalist, and they're just talking about all kinds of things revolving around life and how it's very deep and in depth, but it's fascinating. And one of the things he said, and I completely agreed with it, was music is one of the few, I'm just paraphrasing, but music is that one thing that can still get you, he believes, to transcendence. And I cannot create music. I've tried. I don't know what the problem is with me, but like I'm a very good mimic, but I have no feel. So I could never play music without, there was never any heart or soul to what I could do. It was just like, I can repeat this, but I can't, there's nothing unique about this. So I can't make music, but I can hear music and I listen to it constantly. And it's what I was saying earlier about trying to get to something that makes me feel. Music is the closest thing to it. And that's why I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of movies. I read. But I'm trying to get to that. And so when you ask me about, do I go by myself and why does that matter? Am I talking too fast?
No, you're good. Great. You're good. You're
great. Who I'm with makes no difference.
Because you're in the moment.
I'm in the moment. I'm trying to be present with this music.
Just you and the music.
To reach something.
Yeah. And let me ask you if there's a differentiation on something. Now, when you're listening to a record, and if it was me, it would be in a dark room in my house, just kind of isolating myself to the music, right? Being by yourself, that's easy for me to relate to. But when you're at a concert, if nobody else was there, would you feel the same?
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
So you could literally be in a stadium. It's barely filled. There's some guy sitting up in the bleachers somewhere. But you don't.
No, because it's how I'm interpreting it.
He's there for the music. You're there for the social experience as well as the music.
That's what you're saying. You like that vibe, that energy that you get from all the people around you.
By the way, I like that too.
Yes.
Which in certain situations, those make some great shows.
Yeah.
But I'm not, the experience is not going to matter to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
One way or the other.
Got it.
I mean, it's a bad show. It's a bad show.
Right.
Like, I mean, I've been to shows where, I'm like, I can't believe you're still standing.
Yeah. So I actually went to a show that I was shocked how bad it was. I grew up on the Counting Crows and loved the band. And then they played at the Ruins in Indianapolis, on the north side of Indianapolis.
Yeah. At the park.
And I was just like, this is terrible. They're doing a terrible job.
Yeah, I was at that show. That was a bad show.
Yeah.
They're not good. Yeah.
And I've had this specifically about this band. I've talked because I have another friend who's like lifetime, like huge fan. And even he's like, I'm not paying to see them again.
Yeah.
and it's still one of his all-time favorite bands, but it's this, same thing. Like, I think they get bored.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened with Counting Crows is I think he's bored.
Yeah. And a lot of people want them to play their old hits.
And they don't want to play that.
So they can't create anything new and get traction with it because they've got their fan base is too, deep in the archives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that show because he was on and off stage in less than 90 minutes. I mean, he just was like,
just did the bare minimum.
Get it out and we're out of here.
Yeah.
I was listening to the lead singer, One Republic. Why can't I think of his name?
I don't know his name either.
He was talking about, it wasn't about his band, but all the hit songs he's written for 20 plus artists, both in country, pop, rock, and they were naming the songs. I'm like, what the hell? But here's what blew me away. As he's talking about it, he said how easy these came to him. He was outside on a walk or a jog, or he was working in the yard, or he was in the kitchen, and this melody just came, and he went and wrote it down, and bam, top 40. And I'm so jealous of people that can do that, because what you said earlier, Jeremy, I love music, but I can't perform it. I want to. I'm not good at it.
Yeah. I
want to be around it, but I don't bring any value to creating music. So I guess my job is to enjoy it. So I'm envious of those people that can just create these wonderful,
I know, I am too.
Beautiful pieces.
I went to one of the best concert experiences I've had. Not the best, but it was very, very, it was fantastic. Was the Writers' Room in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, that's really intimate.
And so it's a small place. It's kind of like, they have table service restaurant, bar-ish restaurant food. And you sit down and you listen to the writers of popular songs telling you about their their experience in writing that, how they, came to that song, and then they perform it. And there were 3 writers there, and one of the songs they did was Drowns the Whiskey, which is, I'm forgetting which country artist does that song.
Don't know.
But it was just so much more fascinating than the song by itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you got the story to the song.
Yeah. And it was not some big hit artist. These people have, I'm sure they're making a living, but they've got, a pretty regular place in the economics of society. Like, they're not the rich people that get to take that song and go make money off of it. Now they'll make some money along the way, but it was really, really intimate and small, and the songs were stripped down, and that's
the best.
No showmanship. It was just honesty, like the honesty of the way
I
they
find
played
myself
the music.
gravitating towards bands that are like that. So we'll run out to White River in late August to see Need to Breathe. I like their vibe. I like the stripped down version.
I've seen them several times.
I like those guys. And he's going to be without his brother now. I think he just officially left the band. Anyway, but I like music that presents itself in that fashion. But I also like the stuff I grew up with, right? The 80s, the 90s. And now I'm really curious about this Michael Jackson movie that just came out.
I saw it. It was great.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
We're supposed to go see it.
Loved it.
Oh, everyone
good.
I've talked, now I can add you to the list. Everyone that we've talked to that's seen it just comes out going, you got to go see it. It's great.
It is great.
Nostalgia's powerful.
Man, and that Michael Jackson stuff, when that came out, man, I was
Michael
in high
Jackson is like no other.
I would agree.
There's something about, someone that can just wear one glove and white socks and high water pants and get away with it.
Moonwalk and everything in between.
And his movements are something, he clearly had been practicing since he was a tiny little kid, obviously, as we know. And he just had something about his ability to move that was so much different than just a dancer, even some of the best dancers. Yeah. And then of course, he has some songs that are just some of the best songs ever written, or among them.
Yeah,
just fantastic.
I think the closest we've seen since that, and it's not even a fair statement, but Justin Timberlake for a period of time, I thought performed at a level like that, but no one's going to replace Michael Jackson.
I don't know that the modern icons have the same
Yeah.
breakthrough ability that the
No way.
older icons
Yeah,
do.
I would agree with that.
I mean, they're always. I feel like the public is, and I'm sure the people who make the money are always looking for that next person who's going to be that, next
Taylor Swift or
Taylor Swift's the closest thing.
probably
yeah.
the closest,
Yeah.
right? Since Madonna.
But I mean, think about. I would go back to Quincy Jones. We Are the World, right?
yeah.
Think about that room.
Oh my
all
God.
those people in that room.
Yeah.
Those were iconic
And-
people all in one room. And
if
now
you-
when you think about it, it's like, how many iconic people of similar stature could you fit into a room now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you had
Yeah.
anyone that was in everyone in that room, and to hear Quincy
Except
talk
Prince.
about it, except for Prince.
Yeah,
he was a prick. But to hear Quincy say,
Oh, Madonna wasn't there.
we weren't even sure they were going to show up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're here. Okay, let's perform. Prince is, I love Prince. I loved his music. But man, what the hell?
I don't know. I know the 10th anniversary of his death just passed.
Yeah, I
So
saw
a lot of
that.
people were pretty upset about that.
Yeah, about the 10th anniversary or just his death?
Just it was like a reminder.
Yeah, like
I'm a big Prince fan. I
love
think he's
his
great.
music. I remember when Little Red Corvette came out. I mean, I just loved his music. It was
Yeah,
good
nostalgia,
stuff.
man. It's powerful.
Yeah,
It's just
and
one
music can take you there, right?
Yeah, so I'll tell you because this just happened, and we can just as an example. So on Wednesday, I went to see at the Hi-Fi Annex Jeff Tate, who was the lead singer of Queensryche.
Yeah, yeah.
Not anymore. They had legal things, whatever. I don't know.
That was an awesome band too, by the way.
I saw them in 1991 at the Miami Arena. I'll tell the whole story because
What was that hit song?
Silent Lucidity was the big
that's it. That's what I'm thinking of.
So it was 91, but they were doing the album before, which is their most famous one called Operation Mindcrime in full.
Yeah.
And my friend and I went down to the Miami Arena. We didn't have tickets. We bought them from a scalper. And we said, I remember this conversation so vividly. We said, well, how close are they? He said they were on the floor. We said, how close are they? He goes, that motherfucker's going to spit on you. And we were like, okay, we're 17, right?
Sold.
Okay, so we weren't that close, but they were decent seats, right?
Yeah.
And that show is still to this day. Like the way they interacted with. He had video screens and he's singing to the screen. It's a very dramatic, big.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's metal, but it's very showy.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that they did Mountain Crown in full, and then they did, Empire was the album that had Silent Lucidity.
right.
So they did a few songs off that and some old stuff, and then that was it. Well, here I'm at the Annex Wednesday, so 35 years later, and he and his band come out. He's I think 67 now,
Yeah.
and he did all of Mindcrime again in full,
Wow.
and then some other songs.
Wow.
And it was very similar set list. I was checking, and I'm like, wow, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it was a very similar.
How'd he
set list.
sound?
He still sounded really good. He can still get those high notes. I mean,
he really?
yeah. I mean, not age effects, but I mean, the diminishment was not obvious. It was still like he could hit it, and but what struck me was I was like, I'm having the best time here because this is bringing back all of those memories that I had from being a kid, and then I'm looking around at everybody here, and they look like they're having the same like nostalgic trip that I'm having.
It's so cool.
And it
It's
was
so
so
cool.
fun.
Yeah, it's so cool.
But I also don't want to swim in the past because
Right. It's fun to visit.
I want to be present.
Yeah, it's fun to visit. It really is. Every once in a while, Lori and I we love doing road trips. So lately, we've been trying. I gave her something for Christmas. It's 50 things to do in the state of Indiana.
Okay.
Right, and you scratch it off, and you're up in Angola at the Toboggan sled run and whatever. So we listen to music usually, and Bee Gees came on. I'm like, oh my God, do you remember that song? Yeah, I remember that song. And the next thing I know, we're on iTunes and we're pulling up the album and listening to it and reflecting on our childhood memories from that music, right? And it's great, but to your point, I don't want to live in that, but it's fun to visit.
It's fun to
revisit, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, and it just brings back, for the two of us, it brings back kindred childhood memories.
Yeah.
Because we grew up in that same era, so it's easy for us to talk through that. And then we fast forward to what's out there today, what's playing, what do you want to see, what would you like to go see?
Yeah, I think it's important to constantly listen to new music.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, yeah.
Because I feel like that's another thing as you age and
100%.
your mental flexibility fades.
Yeah.
People get settled into their old songs and they listen to the same thing over and over.
I have a routine every Friday where I go to see what new stuff has come out. I look
I've
at what
got
the
a
release
station
lists
for all
are,
the- yeah,
and
same.
this might be my thing.
So
This
I'll
might
tell you, this is so crazy. We're talking about this. Back in the day when CDs were popular,
Mm-hmm.
when I met Lori, there was a subscription that you paid for that you got a CD monthly with new upcoming artists.
Yeah.
You never heard before singles. And I would get that. It was an
it
actual,
through like Paste Magazine.
it sounds right, but we're going back
This is a while.
25 years.
His ability to remember that far back is tough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I do remember because Lori gave it to me as a gift, and I remember getting it. I was like, "Geez, this is the coolest thing ever." I'm hearing artists before they become big, and it was
Yeah.
like, man, this is so freaking cool.
Yeah. Back when it was not as easy to do that.
No, that's the truth.
Well, I think that if we go much longer, we'll probably be
We'll be an
the
artist.
past.
Oh, okay.
Jeremy,
good.
thanks for coming out.
Thanks for
Thanks,
having
Jeremy.
me. I
Great
appreciate it.
conversation.
Yeah.